Okay, we're going to start with Flipkart right now. So the first step is opening up the driver, that is driver equals to new Firefox driver or new Chrome driver or new IE driver. Once the driver is in place, now we have a window which is open, but it doesn't have any URL. Next step is we are going to give this URL. So to do this, we are going to take the example of driver.get method. Okay, driver.get, then we'll give this URL. Now we are in this page. Second step is also done. Third step is we are going to search for one element or one product. So for example, I'm going to click here. This is the search bar in which I need to click. The thing is that I need to find this element, search bar element, so that I can click here and then I can type some value over here, right? Next step is finding this element, then typing some value over there, and then pressing this button. Then we need to find this button and need to perform click operation. Perfect. So let's achieve this much steps, then we'll go further. Okay, so okay, fine, I'm going to create a new project, new Maven project. So right click, new, go to other and Maven project, and we're going to give you an example. Just select this one, create a simple project, skip archetype selection. Next, so com.example.demo, artifact type is Flipkart -demo, person is 001, finish. So okay, the first thing is we need to copy the Selenium jars or the Selenium dependencies. So we're going to open this pom.xml. In the pom.xml, we'll go to the dependencies tab. Okay, and we're going to copy the dependencies that we need in our project. Fine. So it takes some time. Okay, once it is open, click on this pom.xml tab on the bottom. Okay, fine. Now this is the dependencies section. You need to copy the entire dependencies up to build, and we're specifying the version of jar. Okay, we need to copy both the things. Once that is done, right click and copy. We're going to go back to our Flipkart demo project and we're going to open the pom.xml of Flipkart. Okay, over here we're going to enter the details. So just remember to enter the details within this project tab, and over here we're going to enter it. Fine. Now use Ctrl and S. You can see the project is building the workspace. Once it is ready, then the next thing is this Flipkart demo is going to use the drivers. So I'm going to copy all these three drivers so that I can use them in my project. So right click and copy. Over here right click and paste. Now I have the project ready. Now I can close this Selenium selectors example. Okay, fine. The next thing is I need to create a new Java class. New Java class. Let's give it a package name, com.example.demo.flipkart, and we are going to call it test1. Now we have a class test1 which is created, and if I want to run this class, I need to have a main method. Type main control space, and this is the main method. Double click on that. Now we are ready. Okay. The first thing is we need to assign, or we need to give the system three variables. They are the variables of Chrome driver, Gecko driver for Firefox, and IE driver for Internet Explorer. So I don't want to write the code again. I can go back to the last example and I can copy the contents. So let's copy all these information, and we'll remove these things which we don't want. Fine. Now the project seems to be ready. Okay, there is some error. We're going to find that out. We have public static void when written 2 times. Okay, I'm going to remove one of them. Fine. Now the project seems to be ready. I have initialized the 3 environment variables. Now Selenium, if it wants to open a Firefox driver, it can search for this property and it will find its own gecko driver.exe. With the help of this driver, it can open up a Firefox browser. Similarly with IE and Google Chrome. Fine. Now I'm opening a new Chrome driver. It's fine. We're going to test with Google Chrome. Okay. Next thing is, let's remove all these other parts and we're going to write the code which is specific to our business logic right now. Okay, now I have opened up a Chrome driver and I'm trying to navigate to a specific URL. Let's remove this and let's go to our flipkart.com. Right click, copy, and we're going to paste it over. Fine, now we're in the Flipkart's homepage. We're waiting for 2 seconds so that the user can see that yes, the code is working properly and it's in the Flipkart's page. Okay, the next step is very crucial. That's what is finding this element. So let's do one thing. Let's copy this, go to our Firefox, and we're going to use Firebug plus Firepath for finding this element. Okay, we're going to use strictly XPath, and we're going to see how XPath is helping us and how we can modify XPath to suit our needs. Now we're in the Flipkart page and I'm going to open this Firebug. Click on that. It's gonna open. Fine, Firebug is ready. You can see the Firebug at the bottom. If you are in this console or in HTML, don't worry, go to the last tab, that is the Firepath tab. Make sure this one is XPath selected, and in this small drop down you have unselected the absolute XPath. Okay, now we are ready. So we have navigated to this URL, we have waited for 2 seconds. Now this page is displayed. The second thing that we need is we need to have this text box ready so that we can enter some value over there. To do that, we are going to select that text box. So we need to click on this icon. We're going to go back to the page and we're going to search for this element. Click on that. Now it's fine. Now we have the element. So when you hover the mouse over here, you can see this is an input and the class is something. Fine. So let's do one thing. I'll zoom it for you to understand. Okay, fine. So this is the element which we need to search. With the help of Selenium and Java code, we are going to search for this very element. So this is an input. Whenever you find any HTML tag, there are many tags like div, for, anything. But whenever you encounter this input, just understand that by default this input is a text box. Okay, it can be anything else, but by default it's a text box. If we want to have a different type of element, if it's not a text box, if we want to have a radio button or if you want to have a checkbox, then we can give a different type, but by default it's the text box. So in our scenario, as you can see, we don't have any type over here, so that means it's a text box and this is editable. So the first thing is we'll go with the ID identifier. So do we have any ID over here? I think you can see there is no ID attached to this. Okay, over here we have the type text, but anyways, this is a text element and we want to find, this is an input element and the type is text. So what we want is we need to have access to this element. So we can use the class selector and we can have the attribute type search with title, anything we can do, but let's go ahead with the very simple approach. So I can see over here there is this entire XPath which is printed. So this XPath, you can see it is finding only one element. This XPath is finding only one matching node. Okay, that is the case when we stop. And over here you can see the XPath, it is written in a different way than what we have seen yesterday. Yesterday we have seen the XPath used to be like this, okay, but now we are seeing there is something else. So what does that mean? So we need to go to this one. This is the dot, which means this is the root of all the elements, and double slash, that means it is searching across all the entire page. We say star, that means any type of element we are going to consider it, but then we are giving the filtering condition. So I'm not excited, I'm not interested in finding all the elements, but I'm interested in finding one of the elements, okay, one of the elements which is having the attribute ID is value equal to container. Okay, so I'm interested in this very element. So let's see which element is this. So if I don't have all this information and and I pressed enter. So this is the thing XPath which is evaluated. Then I have this division, okay, and I'll try to unmaximize. So you can see when I have the mouse focused on these, the entire Flipkart page is selected. So I'm at a location where the entire element is located, but I need to go a little in depth of that. So this is the place where the input element is present. So within that div or within that ID element, this is the element, within that I have a division. So I'll expand it and I'll go to the division. This is the division. Within that division I have a header. So I'll go to the header. This is the only header. Within that header I am having a div and I have multiple divs, but I want only the first division. So within the header, this is the header element. Within that I have two divisions, but I am interested in the first division. So this is the first division. Okay, till this we are done. Next we want, there are multiple divisions, but we want the second division. Okay, we'll expand the first division. We are interested in the second division. This is the element. Okay, we'll expand that. And within second division we have one div. Within that we have one div. So this is the div, and again another div. Then we have second division. Second division. This is the division. And within that division we have a form element. You can see over this the form element. I need to go into the form element. Then it says we have a div and the div first element. We have the first div, only div, and the div first element. This is the div element. Okay. Within that we have another div and the input element. This is the div element within that. And we have the input element. So this is the input element we are basically looking for. But you can see the problem with this, it is not completely a relative XPath. Okay. What is the problem over here? If I want to find this element with the help of XPath, it is finding the container division or the container ID value container, but within that again it has started going through div, header, div1, div2 like this, and any time it can fail. If any of these divisions change their location, there is a huge chance that I am not going to find the element. So I need to use a way so that I can find the element in a very, in a way which is very much authentic, which is not going to fail. So what I need to do, I need to search for some of the related information. Okay, so this is the input which is having the class LM6 RPG. Okay, so maybe I can search for the input with class attribute value equal to LM6 for you. So within this center, okay, I have lots of input. So I'm going to search for all the elements. Okay, all the input elements where, now this is the criteria. I'm going to search within this container. There may be many elements present. I need only the input elements, and that input whose attribute class equals to this value. Okay, so let's search for this element, and we have found one matching node. And you can see this element is not a absolute XPath. It's very much relative. It says find me all the elements with the ID container, and within that find all the elements which are input and input tags, and they have the class value equal to LM6 RPG. Now we have found the element, but we don't know if this value is static or not. Maybe the class name is going to change. So what we're going to do, we're going to copy this path and we're going to store it somewhere over here, and we're going to refresh the page. Then we're going to use the same identifier and going to see if we are finding this element or not. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Flipkart and I'm going to refresh the page. I have refreshed the page. The page will take some time to load because of great internet connection. Once the page is loaded properly, then we are going to find the XPath that we have copied. Over here we have copied the XPath. Right click, copy, Come back to Flipkart. The page is still loading. You can see this icon, and we should wait for the page to be loaded completely. Okay, now the page is loaded. So we're going to paste over here. I'm going to press enter. Still it is finding the same element, so no issue. So now we can take this element as an XPath identifier and use in our code. Okay, so anyone having any doubt?
No.
Great. By dot XPath. Now this is right. I'm going to import web element, that is imported. Now what I need to do after finding this element, I need to send some keys. Say for example, I'm going to find for Apple iPhone 7. Okay. So I need to send this text. So I'm going to call the send keys method. I'm going to search for this Apple iPhone 7. So let's go back to our code. Search bar element dot send keys, and I'm going to pass this value. So by this time we have the text entered over here, and we'll have the drop down over here. Next thing what I want is I need to click on this search bar. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's remove everything and let's search for that element. So I've clicked on that arrow icon and I'm here in the search bar. Click on that. So this is the button which I need to click on, right? So you can again see there is a problem with this. It is finding the container element, then it is going the same way like div, header, div1, div2, like this. So there is a chance that this element is going to not be visible if there is the slightest change in the UI. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to find this element. So this button I need to find which is having this class. Okay, or we can find in another way. Okay, let's look at this. Okay, that's getting more complex. So we're going to find until container, and we're going to find the button, all the buttons with the @class attribute equals to this value vh7. Still we have the same value, so we're going to take this, copy, and we're going to paste over here. So we're going to find web element search button equal to driver dot find element by dot XPath. I'm going to pass it over here. After that we are going to click on that button, search button dot perform the click operation. So after performing click operation, so what I want is after typing the values I need to wait for some time, thread dot sleep for 2 seconds. After clicking on this button, now it will be navigated. So when I perform the click operation, it is navigating to a different page. Okay, so at least till this operation I should be able to perform. Okay, so let's click on that and again wait for another 3 seconds. Then we can use the driver.quit or whatever we have. I have saved the code. So I want you to go through the code and let me know if there is any issue. Like if something is there which you need some explanation from me, just let me know. So seems like it is fine for all of you. Sanya?
Yes.
Sanya
Yes.
is there? Okay, so let's run this code, and it seems like this code is going to run on a Google Chrome browser. Okay, I'm going to save the code and I'm going to run it. It's a main method, so I can run it as a Java application. Google Chrome is open. and it is navigating to Flipkart site. Yes, it is going to load that page completely. Then it is going to find out the search bar.
I one question.
Yes.
After loading the page, it will start. It is after loading the page,
Mm-hmm.
then it will start for executing other coding, means other steps.
Yes,
Or
yes.
in between
If
that,
there are,
it will start.
yeah, if there are two steps, first step is
Yes.
navigating to a URL, second step is like finding one element, then it will first navigate to a URL and it will wait for some amount of time. Okay, so if within that time the page need to be loaded. Okay, now you can see the Firefox browser was happy to load the page. Now with Google Chrome it is taking some more time, right? So there is a timeout. So if it exceeds the timeout, the test case is going to fail, right? So I don't know how much time is set for this driver, but we can set it manually as well. So by default it will be having some 1 minute or 3 minutes time. Okay, so let's wait and see until the time this button, like this icon is there, loading icon is there. You can be assured that the next step is not executed, like it's waiting for this page to be loaded. The first, yeah, driver.get is still executing. It has not left that line and has not gone to the next line. Don't know what is taking so much time for this page to load. Let's close this and run again. Taking a lot of time. Or at the end we can take the Firefox driver example and we can see how it is running. Yes, it has performed all the three steps. Now it has completed executing. So you could have seen this. Now I'm going to run the same thing on a Firefox driver. Save and let's run the code. Yes, it has searched for the element and clicked on that button. Now we can see. Okay. So I think the first two steps that we have done, it is working properly. And the most important part was converting this thing, the XPath value, from an absolute XPath or a partial relative XPath to a complete relative XPath. Okay, so earlier you used to have, like you would have seen, this XPath is very different. It used to have a very long value, and there was a higher chance for that value to fail. Now we have minimized that value. So I believe you have understood this part, how this thing is found out. Or if you have any doubt, you can again call me back and you can ask me how it is working. Okay, so you can try with different examples in which the absolute XPath will be displayed and you will try to find the relative XPath. Okay, so the next step, let's do one more step and let's complete this. So what I'm going to do now is I need to check if all the elements in this page, okay, if all the elements in this page which are displayed are actually having, so this is the name of that element, okay, this is Apple iPhone 7 Gold 32 GB. So all the page, all the elements or all the products in this page which are actually displayed are having the same text that I have searched or not. If they don't have that same text, then there may be some issue in the project. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to go through all these elements, okay, and I need to go to this detail, and I'm going to check if this detail is actually having this value which I have searched for or not. Okay, so how to do that? That is very much important, because most of the cases in most of the web pages we used to find such a scenario. We're going to search for some element, then we are going to check, or we are going to check if whatever we have searched is available or not. That's a test case which needs to pass. If it fails, then our test case fails. So what am I going to do is I am going to right click on this very specific text or any of this text, right click, and I am going to click on this inspect in FirePath. Okay, so when I do that, you can see this is the XPath. So when I put my mouse on that, it highlights the element in the web page. Okay, you can see this is the element which is highlighted. So what am I going to do is I am going to see some similarity between the elements. Okay, so this is the division. So let's this is the XPath. Let's copy this and paste it in an editor. Okay, this is the second element. Similarly, I am going to find the third element's XPath. Right click and inspect with FirePath, and this is the XPath. Right click and copy. This is the third element, and I am going to search for the first one as well. Right click and inspect in FirePath, and this is the XPath. Now the thing is that what I want is I need to have all the strings together. So I need to have all the strings at the same time. I don't need to scroll down the entire page and search for each and every element. Rather than that, what I can do is I can find all these elements with a single web element search. So for that, what I need is I need to look at the XPaths, the XPath which they are displaying. So in all these three XPath, we can find some similarity. Okay, see, all of these XPath, they start with the same division ID, same slash dot double slash star and ID equals to container. Then they have this division, then they have division 1, then they have another division, then another division 2, again a division, again division 2. So there must be some difference, right? Again a division, then division 3, then a division 1, then a division 1, and then a division 1. But here it changes, division 2. Okay, over here we have a division 1, then we have a division 2, and then we have a division 3. This is the change that we are seeing. After that, it is again the same division and A2. So if somehow dynamically we can change this value, okay, if dynamically we can change this value from 1 to 2 to 3, like the way we used to do with for loop in Java, then we can find this element. But in XPath, it doesn't happen that way. What we are going to do is we are going to, if we don't specify the index value, then it is going to find all the elements. So if I remove this part, it says that find me all the divisions, and within them the next division and A2. So if I remove this part, the 2, 3, the index part, then it is going to find me all the elements. This is very similar to the next element. Similarly, all the elements which are displayed in the page, they are going to be visible. So I'll go back here, and if you see, if I'm searching for div1 div slash a2, then it is finding one matching node. If I say div3, then it is finding the third element. Similarly with div4, with div9, so 9 is not matching, so we'll go a little below. Okay, so 9 is not available. So the next row elements, they are actually different. They have some different XPath. So what we are going to do in the test case is we are going to search for one element or one product. Then we are going to get some values. The first 4 elements that are displayed, they should have the same search string that we had. Otherwise, they are going to fail. So I am going to search for these 4 elements. Okay. So what I have done is I have taken their XPath and I have seen that all of them having the same similar XPath. Only this is the division which is having a difference. This is the division where we are having a difference. It is having the index value, and it changes for each and every element. So what I am going to do, I am going to remove that XPath index, copy this entire path, and I am going to search for this element. Now you can see there are 4 matching nodes. Okay, there are 4 matching nodes, and if I'll show you this in the UI, in the web page, you can see all the 4 elements are selected. Okay, we are interested in these 4 elements. And if you remember, when we search for one XPath or one element, driver.find element, if I find more than one elements, then I'm going to get a list of web elements. And I'm going to use the driver.find elements command or find elements method. So I'm going to get some more than one string values. They are all web elements, a list of web elements, and I have to import from java.util first 4 products equals to driver.find element. Now I'm going to use find elements. Over here I can give by.xpath, because this xpath is not going to give us only one value. It is going to give us more than one values. It is going to give us some 4 values. Okay. So every time what I am going to do is I am going to print some value. I am going to print each of these web elements text or the display text. So I need to loop across all these elements. So every element is a web element. Each element in first 4 elements, and I am going to print each elements get text. Okay, first 4 products, and let's call this each product. Okay, each products get text. That's it. Then I can quit the driver and it's going to work for us. Fine. So now I have made the changes. We are going to convert this one into a relative XPath, but later on. So let's run this code. So I'm going to run this code. It is going to run on a Firefox browser. Okay, let's wait for the browser to open. It is taking a lot of time to load actually. Okay, it has loaded and searched for the element. It has clicked the search bar and it is waiting for the products load. Okay, now we have not seen the result page. Like this page was displayed but the product was not displayed and it has quit. So what we can do is we can give like 10 seconds wait, then we can see if the elements are displayed or not. Let's run the code again. Come on, yeah, it's taking a lot of time.
I have one question.
Yes, go on. Yeah, go on.
Selenium supports now we are using three browsers like Chrome, Mozilla, and Hive.
Right.
So user means normal Mac user are using Safari user. In that Safari user can
Yes,
what
Safari is
is
also supported. Safari is also supported. If you want, I can show you the demo on a Mac system, in which we'll have a Safari driver as well. So we'll give the Safari driver and we'll test on Safari browser. Okay, that Safari
Yes,
browser is
maximum.
almost similar to Firefox and Chrome only. It's not much different.
Okay.
Okay, anyways, you can. I think you have understood the code. So I'm stopping this code execution. So I'll share you the code. You can practice in your own systems. And one task that I want to give it to you is converting this XPath, which is more about an absolute XPath. I want you guys to convert it into a relative XPath. Okay. So I want you guys to convert it into a relative XPath so that we don't have any hard coding like 1 or 2 or lots of divisions in between. Okay. So try to convert it into some sort of a relative XPath. Okay. So that's all for today's class. We'll have more detailed more examples on XPath in the next class, and then we'll switch to the next part of the syllabus. So anyone having any doubt, just let me know.
Okay.